Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Gemma here, and it's my face. It's been a little while since I've filmed kind of a face-to-face video. I mean, the last one me and Leia filmed together was the vlog, so hi again. Today I wanted to do a little bit of a chit-chat video, kind of. I just wanted to talk about like my collections and possible changes I wanted to make to my collections, and just going through thoughts and feelings I had about collections, because I tried to do this as a live stream. It flopped. There was literally like one other person there. I just felt like I wanted to let more people see this, because also there might be people who are questioning things about their own collections, and I thought it would be kind of helpful for some people to kind of have someone to talk to about it. So if you do have any questions about like collections and stuff like that, if you want to ask me about any of my collections, or if you want to ask about your collections and maybe some advice for collections and stuff like that, I will try my best to answer all of the comments. I'm not an expert at collecting, by no means, but I've been collecting for, I would say properly collecting for about 2 years now. So I've kind of made my own rules in a sense. Like, I've kind of got better at it with kind of controlling what I collect and how much I collect and stuff like that. So let's get started. I have a whole list down on my laptop, that's why I'm looking down here. There might have even been a couple changes since I made this list, but I think it's pretty updated. I guess we're just gonna start from like my alts and go down in priority. I currently have 4 alts: Shiny, Pentagon, Johan, and BTS. I kind of had similar rules for all my alts. So for Shiny, I want to collect all their Korean albums and photo cards, and I sometimes get special things like Season's Greetings, DVDs, photo books. For example, I have Shiny's 2020 Season's Greetings. I also have their photo book that came out this year, Into the Light. Yeah. I have their Into the Light photo book. I don't collect every single like special thing for Shiny, but if I can get it, then I will get it. Because Shiny are the top alt for me. I did want to mention, I don't collect like Japanese things, albums or photo cards for any group, because Japanese things can sometimes be real expensive, and I think I just decided from a very early stage in collecting that I just wasn't going to do that to myself. I don't mind not collecting Japanese things. I won't be like, this collection is not complete until I have all their Japanese stuff as well. Like, I'm not really bothered. I will just mostly collect Korean press things or Korean albums and call it a day, really. And for Shiny, I do collect OT5. I collect all 5 members. So that also plays a part in why I don't buy like Japanese press things, because if I was to get Japanese things I would collect OT5, so that would just be like way too expensive, which is a shame, but it's okay, I can live with it. Next alt is Pentagon. For Pentagon, I collect all Korean albums and photo cards. I also collect some special things from Pentagon, again like Season's Greetings, DVDs, photo books, whatever. I don't have any of those, but I kind of wanted to get their Season's Greetings for this year. Haven't seen anything about a 2021 Season's Greetings, but I'm hoping there is going to be one so I can buy it, because like I said, I got Shinies last year, so I wanted to get Pentagon's 2021 Season's Greetings. And for Pentagon I do collect OT10/9/8, whatever, however many members are in a comeback, I collect all of them. The next group is WeI. As you may know by now, Johan is a big alt for me, but I do collect all the members of WeI. If you saw my WeI unboxing, you would know that Johan is a big alt, and I wanted to collect whoever was in his group, or however many members there were in his group. I wanted to collect everyone who ended up being in Johan's group, and luckily there was only 6 members, so it's a decent amount for me to collect. For WeI, I collect all their Korean albums and photo cards, and maybe special things in the future if they do photo books or season's greetings or DVDs or whatever. I probably would end up buying them. WeI has made its way onto my alt list because of Johan. I do love WeI. I love their debut, and I'm really excited to see what they do in the future as well. My 4th alt is BTS. Again, all Korean albums, photo cards, some special things. I have, what do I have? I have the winter package up there. I have a few DVDs. I have like Memories 2018, some Mustard DVDs. I have their London Speak Yourself World Tour DVD. So I don't collect every single DVD for BTS, just a couple because they are quite expensive, but BTS DVDs seem to be the most accessible. And again, for BTS I collect all members, because for alts I collect all members for the groups. That's why I've kind of had to cut back on a couple other groups so I can focus on my alts and kind of higher priority groups. Now moving on to semi-alts. I also have 4 semi-alts. First semi-alt I have is 17. They are like the highest semi-alt, almost alt. Almost. For 17, again, all Korean albums and photo cards. I only collect 3 members of 17. I collect Jun, who's my bias, Mingyu, who's bias wrecker, and S-Coops, who is like second bias wrecker. Next semi-alt is Stray Kids. Again, all Korean albums and photo cards. Again, for Stray Kids I collect 3 members, Jisung, Chan and Changbin, 3 Ratcha. I added Changbin after Levanta, and I'm not going to go back and collect his older cards just because it's too much. And I'm happy with having just Jisung and Chan for like their first bunch of albums. Changbin is easier to collect, but still, it's a lot. It is a lot. Next semi-alt is ATEEZ. All Korean albums and photo cards. I collect 3 members for ATEEZ. Do you see a pattern here? I collect Yuno, Songhwa and Wooyoung. Final semi-alt is Day 6. Again, all Korean albums and photo cards. I've put not unit cards because we all know JYP and their unit cards is a lot. For Day 6 I collect J and Youngtae, and for all of my semi-alts I don't go out of my way to collect like special things, but if I want something like a DVD from one of my semi-alts I will buy it if I want it. I wouldn't buy a season's greetings for my semi-alts. I mean, maybe 17. If it was like a real cute season's greetings I would buy one from 17, but in general semi-alts I don't prioritise buying special things for them. The next groups I have are like my top groups, so just below semi-alts. I don't think this is in any kind of particular order. So the first top group I have on my list is CIX. I collect all their Korean albums and photo cards. For Jinyoung. Jinyoung is my bias. No, I didn't stan 101. If you saw my WeI unboxing, I talked a little bit about that. I didn't get into 101 because when I showed interest in 101, they were about to disband, so that's kind of sad. But I do love kind of post 101 things. I try and keep up with some of the members that I know. Like I love Daniel's music. I love Songwoo's song Gravity. Oh my god, that song is amazing. It's like one of my top songs. I love it. Obviously CIX, I love them. Like yes. Even who released a song recently? Gotcha? Was it Jihoon? Also AB6. I love AB6. They're on my list as well, just a bit further down. We'll get to them. My next top group is Wavy. They are my favourite NCT unit. I love Wavy. They are basically Wavy are the reason that I got into NCT because I did like NCT before. Like I liked their music, but I didn't like fully stan until Wavy happened, because like 10 is my top NCT bias. I love 10 so much, and when I found out he was going to be in like a permanent NCT unit, not just NCTU, I was like, yes, I need to stan, because also like it had Lucas and Winwin, who were also like some of my top members of NCT that I knew, because I did know a couple of the members before like fully learning all their names and standing. So yeah, Wavy are the reason I stan NCT. They are very much the reason I stan NCT, so thank you, Wavy. I collect all their albums and photo cards. I used to collect OT7 photo cards and just keep who I pull for circle cards, but now I'm changing it to only collecting 3 members. Those 3 members I've decided to be 10, Winwin, and for the 3rd member I was like going back and forth for so long, but I think I finally decided to collect Kun as my 3rd member. I was going between Lucas and Kun for so long, but I think I finally decided to collect Kun. Okay, my next top group is GOT7. For GOT7, since a lot of their recent albums, the photo books have been like kind of similar and there wasn't like distinct differences in each version, I've kind of decided to buy 1 or 2 versions per album, unless in the future they come out with like all different concepts for the photo books. I'm just going to stick to 1 or 2 versions. I used to collect Mark and JB, but recently decided to drop JB and just keep what I pull of him. If I pull any photo cards, I'll just keep them because I love him too much. But I am going to collect him for like extra things. For Dai they had the bookmarks, so I collected Mark and JB. I actually pulled Mark and JB, it's a miracle. So things like that I'll collect both for, but photo cards I'm only collecting Mark now. I think it will help me complete collections if I just focus on Mark, which is a shame because I really love JB. Gotta make some sacrifices sometimes, especially for JYP groups. I feel like it's basically impossible to collect more than 1 member if you try and collect everything. My final top group is Monster X. I have been collecting all 4 versions of the albums, but maybe in the future I will only collect 2 versions of the album from now on, because collecting 4 versions for every single album can get a bit expensive. But I don't know, because all of the Fatal Love versions are beautiful and kind of sucks. For Monster X I collect Hyungwon. I used to collect Wonho, all the albums he was in, and then after Wonho left I wanted to collect Kihyun and IM, and now I'm thinking that I only want to collect Hyungwon and Kihyun, maybe not IM, because collecting 3 members is quite a lot. It's tough, it's really tough, because I really want to collect IM as well, but one, his cards can be way more expensive than the others for some reason, and that's stupid. I don't know, collecting 3 members is just a lot, especially with Monsta X because they have a lot of extra inclusions, so yeah. Also, while we're here, for Wonho solo, I want to get all the versions and just like keep what I pull, just to make it easier and not like fully collect his stuff, because he has a lot of stuff even from like the first album, so it's a shame, but I'm not gonna fully collect Wonho solo. That's it for top groups. Now I just move on to like medium priority groups / low priority as we get further down, but even that I didn't really put in an order. It's just like random groups pretty much. Actually, first we have like the X1 groups, as I like to call them. Out of those groups I collect Victon. I collect all the versions of the albums for now. If they go beyond 3, I think I'm gonna just collect 2 versions maybe. All photo cards for the members I collect, although they just released the album specifics for their comeback and we have so many photo cards, and I wanted to collect 3 members. I definitely want to collect Byungchan and Sungwoo. Byungchan is my bias, like my main bias, and then Sungwoo is like my second bias. I also wanted to collect Sungshik at one point, and then it changed to Subin, but now I think it's just, I'm gonna have to cut the 3rd member. I mean, it was gonna be Subin. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to cut Subin because there are so many cards for this new comeback. Also, because Victon aren't like a top group, they're only like a medium group, I probably will stop collecting 3 members for any groups that aren't top groups or semi-alts or alts, but I think I should just focus on like my main 2 biases. Gravity. Again, I put all versions of albums for now, And photo cards. At the moment I collect 3 members, Minnie, Hyungjun and Taeyoung. I don't know, in the future I might have to let go of Taeyoung, but I kind of decided to not collect all of the extra stuff like thoroughly, like the unit Polaroids. I don't think I'm gonna like thoroughly collect those. Basically just keep what I pull, and if I pull a dupe one, I'll just trade it for another one if I can. Again, going back to like collecting 3 members, I still want to collect the 3 members of Gravity, but if I'm going with my new rule of don't collect 3 members if they're not a top group, then I might have to cut Taeyoung in the future, which is really sad because I love him. He's so cute. If they start to get a lot of stuff per member, then yeah, I'll have to cut Taeyoung. Next one on my list is Woods. For Woods, I'm gonna collect all of his albums and just keep what I pull of his photo cards because he has a lot of photo cards and it's way too much. I'm just gonna keep what I pull and just get all the versions so I get more photo cards. For other members of X1, I want to get 1 photo card from them. I have Wusok, I have one of his albums, so I just kept what I pulled from that. H&D, I actually did buy their album, their Soulmate album, both versions, and I pulled a Hangul and a Doyeon, so it kind of worked out. So I have 1 card for each of them. For Juno, I'm gonna try and buy one of his photo cards from Drippin's new album. Same with Unsang, I want to get one of his photo cards from his debut album. It's just Dongpyo who needs to debut, so I can get an album photo card for him. And I'm just gonna put all of those on 1 page and then not collect those members fully, which is kind of sad because I really wanted to collect all the X1 members like after X1, but there's just no way that I can do that. Okay, moving on, we have the Road to Kingdom groups minus Pentagon. So the boys, I collect all the versions of their albums and photo cards. I collect Q only. I almost started collecting Hatnyeon as well because at the time he was my Rekka, but now my Rekka is Juyeon. But I still wouldn't collect his cards because there's enough struggle with collecting Q since he's one of the more popular members. He's hard to trade for if you don't immediately trade for the boys things. ONEUS, I collect all versions even though they only produce like 1 version per album, which is nice, so that's not too hard to keep up with. For ONEUS, I collect 2 members, Soho and Raven. ONEUS are pretty easy to collect. I'm just really slow with them. You know, they don't have too many like things per member, like photo cards or extra things, so it's pretty easy to collect 2 members for ONEUS, so I'm happy with keeping that the same. Golden Child is the next. At the moment I collect all the versions of their albums and all the photo cards. I used to collect Daeol and Bowman, but recently decided to not fully collect Bowman and just keep what I pull of him because collecting 2 members was starting to get a bit hectic since Golden Child have recently gotten a lot more photo cards per member. In Pump It Up they have 7, well 6 and an AR card, so it's kind of difficult especially when they're not high priority to collect 2 members. So yeah, I just decided to focus on Daeol. Next one, TOO. TOO, at the moment I collect all the versions of the album and recently decided to maybe I'm still kind of on the fence about it depending on how many photo cards they get next come back. I might drop Jisoo because I collect Chan and Jisoo. Chan is my bias, Jisoo is my Brekka, so I decided that I might drop Jisoo next comeback. But again, I just need to focus on 1 member really for the not high priority groups. On and Off is the next group from Road to Kingdom. I want to collect all their albums. They only have like 1 version per album, which is pretty easy, and I want to collect all the photo cards and stuff for JS. JS is my bias, so I'm gonna collect him hopefully sometime soon. I haven't started that collection yet, but I want to. Final group from Road to Kingdom is Very Very. Recently decided to only get 1 version of the album, not the DIY one, just like the official version, because they're easier to find online. All the photo cards and things for Yongsung, who is my bias. Just focusing on 1 member will be way easier for me. I did want to collect 3 members and then a little while ago I decided to just collect Yeonsang. Again, haven't started that collection, but I really want to. I do want to collect all the groups from Road to Kingdom because I loved Road to Kingdom so much. Now I just moved on to like random medium priority groups. So next on my list I have NCT. Basically just all the other units. I essentially just choose what albums I want to buy. I don't get all of their releases. Like recently decided to just not buy Limitless because I honestly hate that packaging so much. I'll just buy the stuff from it that I want, like the postcards for the members I collect. I'll still collect like all the photo cards, not Kino cards. I wrote that down because yeah, Kino cards can just be expensive, so I'm not going there with any group. Unless they come in a set, I will not buy Kino cards. Like I have a couple Kinos, but I don't thoroughly collect Kinos, so yeah, it's not a big deal. Also for NCT 2018, 2020, when they all get together, essentially, I will collect more members. For 127, I collect Yuta and Winwin and Jungwoo. Wavy, I collect 10, Winwin and Kun. Dream, I collect Jaemin and Jisung, so that's 7 members total. So for 2018-2020, I also want to collect Lucas and Jeno, because those two, if I could collect them thoroughly, I would, but I can't, so I just decided to go up to 9 members for anything like the big NCT get-togethers when they all come together. I'm gonna collect 9 members. Probably not everything. 2020 has like the postcards and the special yearbook cards, whatever they are. Might not collect those thoroughly. I might try, but I don't think I will collect them for everyone. Maybe just like my biases, like 10 Yuta and Jaemin. Moving on to the next group, Treasure. For now, I collect all the versions of their albums because they only do 2 versions per album. I haven't got chapter 3 yet, but I'm just taking my time with getting Treasure because they're coming back way too quickly. Who knew a YG group could make this many comebacks within like 3 months? I do collect all the photo cards. I collect Asahi, who is my bias, and Jaehyuk because we love that friendship. Jaesahi? Yeah, Jaesahi friendship. But I did put maybe drop Jaehyuk if they get a huge amount of cards in the future. If Treasure start to go like crazy with their photo cards, I will probably end up only collecting Asahi, which is a shame because I really want to collect both of them. We'll literally just have to see in the future. Ace. So for Ace, I decided to collect Undercover onwards because a lot of their older albums are really hard to find, and I only want to collect 1 member, which is WOW, because they do have quite a lot of cards per member. SF9. For SF9, I only collect certain albums and photo cards. For Taeyang, I recently decided to like only collect his selfie cards to make it a bit easier. And Flying is the next one. Again, Spring Memories onwards for albums, but I do want to collect all photo cards for Hoon. Next is the Rose. For the Rose, I just put who knows what will happen in the future, because honestly I don't know what will happen with the Rose in the future, if they'll continue to release physical albums or just digital albums or whatever. But I do want to collect what I have planned to collect. TXT, I decided to keep what I pull to make it easier because I couldn't decide who to collect. If I wanted to collect like my top 2 members or OT5, I literally couldn't decide, so I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna keep what I pull. And also just getting all the versions of the albums just lets me pull more cards. ITZY is another group that I just keep what I pull, but I only buy 1 version of ITZY's albums. Card, I want to get certain albums and collect what I've planned again. Although I've been thinking about Card and I might not get all of the albums I plan to get. I might just get their Gunshot album. I have their Red Moon album, and so I thought if I get their Gunshot album, this will pretty much be like my 2 favourite Card albums. And I only collect JSF anyways, so, and I don't even collect all of his things. IZ*ONE I recently added back into my collections list because I did cut them, but I've recently added them back because I wanted to collect all of Cheon's photo cards. I don't collect IZ*ONE's albums, but I do want to collect Cheon's photo cards because she is like my queen. I love her so much. She is actually up there with all my biases. I would say she's my top female bias. I just loved her and Produce, and I still love her. I saw her dance the 16 shots on Studio Tune and I was like, queen, yes, I need to collect your photo cards again. I decided to cut her collection because I was like, I'm not getting anywhere with this collection and it's kind of sad, and I have so many other collections that I want to focus on, so I decided to cut Cheon, but I brought her back because I just love her so much, and that dance just made me want to collect her even more again. And now we move on to the sad part, the groups I decided to stop collecting after a certain point. So I previously started to collect them but now decided to stop. First one I stopped collecting was Astro. I love Astro so much. I have a couple of their albums. I have Rise Up, I have both Blue Flame albums, and I have their One and Only single album. Astro were just another group that I wasn't really getting very far with their collections, and they were on such a low priority that I kind of just looked at the collection like, is it worth it? Because I was thinking about cutting Jinjin because I collected two members, Rocky and Jinjin, and I was thinking about just collecting Rocky, but I couldn't bring myself to cut Jinjin because I'm basically double biased in Astro. But since I wasn't really getting anywhere with their collection, I just decided to cut it. It's such a shame because I love Astro so much. Like, oh, I love them so much, but when you're not really getting somewhere with the collection, I think it's time to say goodbye. I'm not selling their collection, I'm keeping what I have of their collection. Pretty much with all of the collections that I decided to stop collecting, I have kept what I have. The next group I have is AB6. Sadly, after The Answer, I decided to stop collecting them. I love The Answer album, so I'm gonna get a copy of that, but after that I'm gonna stop collecting and I'm just gonna keep what I pull from that album. I think after Youngmin left, I just lost a lot of motivation to collect AB6. I still love AB6, but since Youngmin left, it kind of stopped me from collecting them a little bit. Like, it just made me really sad, and I didn't put as much effort into collecting AB6 as I used to. Like, I fully collected their first album. I only buy one copy of their album as well. I have one of Be Complete and one of Sixth Sense, so I wanted to get just one of the Answer albums to kind of complete what I wanted to complete. But after that album, I am stopping collecting AB6. Even though I love Salute. Salute is like such a good song. I don't really prioritize AB6. It wouldn't be worth it to continue their collection. Kind of same with Astro, I didn't prioritize them. There are a couple of other groups like that I'm still collecting at the moment, but I think in the future I might decide to stop collecting them after like a certain point. One of these is Card. I said after Gunshot I might stop collecting Card. I only collect JSF anyways, and he's in the military right now, so I don't know if Card is going to continue releasing albums while he's gone, or if they're gonna wait for him to come back to release an album. Any future albums JSF is in, I'm probably not gonna collect them because they are a little bit of a low priority. And the other group I'm kind of on the fence about is SF9, again because they're such a low priority and it's just taking me so long. I might stop collecting them. Again, I'm just kind of going back and forth about it right now, but I don't have much motivation to collect them at the moment. I think if I don't make any progress on the collections like Card and SF9, I will probably just stop collecting them. Maybe in the future I will stop collecting a couple more groups, but you know, at the same time I will stan more groups in the future. Probably won't collect all the groups I stan in the future, but if there is a group that becomes like a top group, then I will collect those kinds of groups. But I think if I stan and they don't become a top group, I just won't collect them because I'm trying to be a little bit more strict about who I collect instead of collecting every single group that I stan. It's kind of been the goal to think about who I collect, who I want to collect, who I'm actually motivated to collect, things like that. Well, that's basically it for what I have on my list. I also just want to take a quick second to mention that I'm not currently trading for anything on my trade account. If you go to it, you'll just see one post saying that I'm taking a break from trading just because of Christmas coming up. I have to kind of save money for that. I kind of just had to take all my posts down for a minute just so no one can be tempted to message me about trades or anything like that. Christmas is expensive and so is collecting, so I had to just prioritise Christmas for a bit. You know, collections can wait, but Christmas can't. There's a lot of decisions that have been made, but I feel like there are going to be a lot more decisions that are going to be made in the near future or even in the far future. But I think that is what my collection list kind of looks like right now. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, even though it was just me rambling on and on. I mean, it might have helped you kind of take a look at your collections and make some decisions about your own collections, because like I said, I'm not an expert at collecting or anything like that. I don't think there even is experts in collecting, but I have been collecting for quite a long time now, so I've kind of just come to conclusions about collecting on my own. I do collect a lot of groups. I collected even more before I cut some of them, so it's just a lot to keep up with as well. That's another kind of thing I had to think about, is how many groups I can keep up with, and if I'm not really keeping up with a group, I should probably just get rid of the collection or stop collecting them. You have to just do what's right, I think. You know, no matter what you collect, no matter how many groups you collect, no matter how many things per member you collect, it doesn't matter. It's your own collection and no one can tell you that you're collecting wrong or that you should collect everything, otherwise you're not a true collector or whatever. You know, I think a lot of that kind of stuff affected me in how I collected. I wanted to collect every single thing and every single member and every single group and every single album. That's just not possible. I had to kind of be careful about how many members I would collect for those groups. I've kind of gotten better at that now. I will only tend to want to collect my bias and maybe my bias wrecker, but I'm still making quite slow progress on collections, and that's okay. I'll get there in the end. I think that's it. I think that is everything I wanted to say. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it's not too long. I don't know how much I can edit this. Sorry if it's a bit of a long video, but I just wanted to ramble. Like I said, leave comments below. If you have any collection questions, I can do my best to try and answer them. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of these videos. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!